So let's see today. So how to install Postgres via M method. So after done installation with M method, so how to customize M installation method, we'll see. So before proceeding M installation method, so make sure Linux server should have internet connection. If Linux server having the internet connection, then only we can proceed with this method. That is the mandatory step. If you don't have internet connection on this Linux server, we cannot proceed with this M method. Make sure Linux server should have internet connection. So if we go with the M method, if we go with M method, so no need to download the software. You can say here, no need to download the software. Next, no need to create user at OS level. Next, no need to create a data directory and give permissions. So these all are taken care by system itself. Everything it's taken care by system itself. It's automatically it's automatically download and install repository file when you have internet connection. That's why before proceeding M method, the server should have internet connection. Then no need to create the user at OS level. In case of source code method, we added one user at OS level. Then after we created one directory for a data directory, we change the ownership and permissions. So no need to do these all the things. These all are taken care by system itself. Just there is some instructions are there for M method. We have to fire the command step by step. So where we can get these instructions for M method in the same website postgresql.org. So if you install Postgres any method, what is the super user? Default super user, default super user. So the same default super user is same. Can say Postgres. What is the default port number? Yes, 5432. So how many database got created? Default 3 DBs are created. What are those? Postgres, template 1, template 0. Out of these three, this is the default one. Default DB. So these all are same if you go with any method, either source code method or M method or RPM method, either Windows for anywhere these all are same. So compared to installation method, if you compare with the one method to other method, the installation directory different, the data directory will be different, but these all are fixed. If you want to change, yes, you can change super user. If you want to change the port number, yes, we can change. But these are created by default, these three databases. Out of these three, this is the default database. Postgres is the default database. So in case of source code method, we have to download the software. We have to create the user at OS level. We have to create a data directory and change the ownership and give the permissions. So in case of M method, no need to do these all the things. Okay. So where you can get the instructions, how to check the internet connection is available or not in this Linux server. Let me log into my server, root Oracle. So let me take IP address. This is my Linux server. Yes, right click, open terminal, if config. So if config, this is IP address 148. Let me open the putty. Let me establish the connection remotely for this Linux server 192. 168.0.148 root Oracle. So the same Linux server established the connection remotely. Let me increase the font size. Appearance change 14 bold. Yeah. So you can say, so what was the Linux, which version installed on this? How to check? Slash etc OS release. First we have to verify this, which OS installed. What was the version of Linux? Oracle Enterprise Linux, Oracle Linux Server 7.9 installed. Yes, we are good. Okay, next. So let me clear how many mount points are there. These are the mount points available. Okay, next. So how to check the prerequisites for any Linux, for any method in Linux? RPM-QA, GCC. The GCC should be installed compiler, yes. This compiler is to convert from all the existing code from C language to SQL language. Next, what was this compiler version? Make version. Yes, it should be 3.80 or above. It should not be lower than 3.80. We are good in the mandatory prerequisites part. Let me clear. So, what are the optional prerequisites? RPM-QA read line. Yes, the read line also, package also installed. Next, zlib. Zlib also it's installed. So we are good with the optional prerequisites and mandatory prerequisites. So now we are ready to install Postgres via any method. So today we are discussing about yum installation method. So before proceeding yum method, make sure the server should have internet connection. How to verify? So you can say ping google.com. Can say, so with this command we come to know this if it is pinging, yes, we understand, okay, this server have internet connection. If it is not pinging, he can say, so 3 packets transmit, 3 received, there is no data loss, it's pinging, that means this server having internet connection. So now we can go and do the installation. So where we can get the instructions? Let me see. In the same website, postgresql.org. From in this website, we can get the instructions for yum method. Click on download. So which method we are going to install? Which method? Yum method. For yum method, we have to select packages. While get the instructions for yum method, if it is source code method, if you want to build the database server using source code method, click on source. For yum method or RPM method, you have to select this packages method. Click on packages. It will give the instructions for yum method. Okay, click on packages. Then select the operating system Linux, Red Hat. Yes, PostgreSQL yum repository. So here we can get to use the PostgreSQL yum repository following these steps. If you want to install PostgreSQL installation using yum method, this is how you can get the instructions for yum method. So let me go to again from first. Postgresql.org, open the website, click on download, click on packages, because for yum method, RPM method, you have to select this packages, not source. If you want to build the database server using source code method, click on source. So today we are going to install a Postgres via yum method. So select packages, click on packages, then select the operating system, Linux, Red Hat. So here, which version we are going to install? 15. Platform, which version install on Linux server? 7.9. So we have to select the major version, 7. Oracle Linux, either Red Hat or CentOS or Oracle. For anything, we have to select this 7. 7.9, we have to select the major version, not exact 7.9. For any version 7.2, 7.8, we can select the major version only. Suppose if you are running with operating system 8.9, you have to select the 8. If you are running with 9.2, you have to select the major version. So 7.9, out of 7.9, what is the major version? 7. So you have to select the operating system. So architecture is default. Nowadays all are 64-bit. Then copy, paste and run the relevant parts of the setup script. These are the setup scripts. This is the instructions we get from this website. So you can say here, these are the instructions. So first, what is the step? Install the repository file, RPM file, repository file. So we have to download this repository file first. How to download? Using yum method. Sudo yum install -y. This is the link. Internally, it's connected to this website, postgresql.org. So it's download this repository file and install in our system. If you don't have internet connectivity, if you don't have internet connection, so we cannot proceed. So it has to internally connect to website and get the download this file and place it in our system. That is for install the repository file. First we have to download and install the repository file. Just if you fire this command, internally it's connected to postgresql.org website. It's download the file and install the file into our system. I'm going to firing the first command. Can say, let's wait. Can say, so where the repository file placed? cd/etc m.repository m.repos.d. In this location, the file will be placed. You can say pgdg red hat all.repo. This is the file. When you fire this first command, it's going to download the RPM file and install your location. Which location? /etc m.repos.d. Means all the repository files extension .repo. Means these all are repository files. For Oracle Linux, this is the repository file. So for database, for Postgres, pgdj red hat all.repo. So this is the file, just download and installed on our location /etc m.repos.d. That is the first step. Next, second step, install PostgreSQL. Which version? 15. The same steps we have to follow one by one. Sudo yum install -y PostgreSQL 15 server. Can say. So when you install the Postgres via yum method, what is the default location? This is the default home location. /usr local pgsql version number. So when you install yum method or RPM method, the default Postgres home location, this is the home location. /usr /pgsql -version number. This is the data directory. It takes a default data directory and it keep all the data files and configuration files. Let me see. Yes, the installation is done, complete without any errors. Now we finish the installation of Postgres 15. How to verify the installation is succeed or not? Go to your home location. What is your home location? In case of yum method, /usr pgsql -15. Because we install 15 version. Now you can say there is a bin folder is there, lib folder is there.
8:13. Which is doing leech.
Hello. Thanks. Okay, keep on mute. So can say, so this is how we can verify the installation part. This is a default home location. Inside there is a bin folder is there, lib folder is there, share folder is there. So we are good. The installation is went succeed. Now what is the next step? So next, initialize the database. In source code method also same. We have to install the software, then create the cluster, then start the services. Here also same. Download the repository file and install. then install the PostgreSQL, then initialize the database and enable automatic start. How to initialize the database means create the cluster. How to create the cluster for any method? initdb. By using initdb, you can create a cluster. Initialize the database. Both are same. For initializing the database or creation of cluster. How to create the cluster? initdb. Can say I am going to create the cluster. Can say so m method for all the steps done with root user only. So now the creation of cluster is done. Now next we have to enable the service. How to enable? There is a service file is created, Postgresql15.service. I will show you. So the service file we are enabling. Enable the service file. Next start the services. Sudo systemctl start Postgresql15. Now you can see how to check the services. Status Postgresql15. So where is my service file? This is my service file. You can say using systemctl. You can start the database using systemctl or pgctl. If it is source code method, we must not use pgctl utility. If it is m method or rpm method, we can start and stop services either using pgctl command, that is manual method, either systemctl, that is automatic auto start. So how to start the stop on services using systemctl, using this service file. Where the service file, what is the full path of service file? This is the service file. This service file contains what is the user, what is the group, what is the data directory, everything is there inside the service file. So what is the use of when you start DB services using systemctl? Suppose if I restart my Linux server, after restarting means it's stopping the Linux server and starting the Linux server. After starting the Linux server, the Postgres database services, let me go to pane. You can see this is my Linux server. This is my database services. Now currently it's running. Up. DB services up. DB services up. Now if you restart the mission, how to restart the Linux server? We can init 6. Init 6 means what it will do when you give init 6? Stopping the server, then starting the server. So okay, first it will stop the services, stop the server, then start the server. After starting the server, who bring up these services? If it is source code method, suppose we are talking about source code method. So we are assuming we installed Postgres via source code method. So after stopping and starting the Linux server, just suppose I want to stop and start. There is some maintenance window or due to any reason, my server restarted due to some reason. After starting the Linux server, these services, who start these services? We have to start the services manually until unless the database services are down state. We have to start the services manually. How to start the services manually? pgctl -d data directory user1 data start. With this command, we have to start manually. Suppose we are assuming there is another cluster is there. Okay, we are assuming another server is there. Suppose this is the 15 version install using m method. When you install m method, there is a service file is created. What is the service file? Postgresql-15.service file. So when you in this 15 cluster services, I started database using systemctl. After restarting this node, there is a daemon process. The daemon process will bring up this database services. No need to manual start. When this daemon process start the services, if if you enable automatic start, you can see here in the instruction itself, enable automatic start. How to enable? So systemctl enable PostgreSQL 15. If you enable this services file, automatic start, if you enable, whenever due to any reason the server is restarted, after restarting the server, the daemon process going to bring up your DB services. Clear? That is the advantage of if you start the services using systemctl. If you start the services using pgctl, daemon doesn't start the services. We have to start the services manually. Clear? Any
Alright.
questions?
Yeah, so I have one question, Venkat.
Go
So
ahead.
in case of source, can we start the services using the this one CTL instead of PGCTL?
Instead of pgctl. So in real time, it's recommended M method or RPM method.
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm
So
asking.
yeah, yes, in real time. So the recommended method M method or RPM method. So in this we can customize our data. Okay, we'll see customizing part. So this is the default installation process when you want to install using M method. Either M method or RPM method. These are the recommended method in real time. Yes, Imran.
Okay, thanks. And one more thing, if it is already installed on the server, I want to check is it the yum or which one method? Can I check it? Is there
Yeah,
any
yeah,
command?
we'll cover. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, so till this, any doubts? We just gone through the default installation method using yum method. Any other queries? This means what is the use of enable? What is the use of systemctl to start services? These steps. Any queries?
Yeah, Venkat, this is Mahesh here. So, which is the best method? For example, if we get a new client, so which is the best method we can install?
That's what yum method or RPM method.
Okay.
Systemctl always in live servers we have to use systemctl only because we don't know right when the server is restarted. Maybe due to any reason we are not
Okay.
expecting frequently, but due to some reason, maybe if server is restarted, then the service is automatically started by daemon process. So recommended is systemctl only.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Venkat, one more
Yeah, go
question.
ahead. Go ahead.
So you told me in the last day is a source code method, right? So in
Yeah.
which scenario we will go for a source method? So
That's
I
what,
understand.
when you have don't have internet connection.
Okay, that is the only one reason.
Yeah. So okay, not only source code. When you don't have internet connection, in that case, go with RPM method. We never go with the source code method in real time. Just there is a one method is there. We have to know
Okay.
for knowledge purpose.
Okay.
Source code method. So if we don't have internet connection, we can go for RPM method. Okay. If you have internet connection, so this is the recommendation method. So we have to go with the M method.
Makes sense, Venkat.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah. So you can say now, so how to check the services, systemctl, status, PostgreSQL. If it is the default service file, no need to give dot service like that. You can say what is the service to know that suppose if you don't know what service file they used. So you can use status. Here you can say loaded. This is the service file. This is the default service file, PostgreSQL 15 dot service. All are using default service file only in real time. Because each version it's automatically created a default service file 15. If you install 14 dot service. If you install 16 dot service file. So if you want to see what it contains service file, so you can say cat service file. It contains, you can say here, username and group and data directory environment, you can say here somewhere. Yeah. So what is the data directory? PZ data. PZ data is the environment variable. One of the environment variable name. It will cover coming classes. How many environment variable? How to set up the environment variables? PZ data is the one of the variable name to set up environment variables. So it contains current data directory. Varlib PGSQL15 data. What is the current directory? When you use systemctl status PostgreSQL15, you can see here, this is the default home location. This is the current data directory, default data directory if you go with the yum method. So service file, it contains which user used to build the database server, user and group name, and data directory. So if you want to connect the database, you have to switch to Postgres user. Yes. Now you can verify ps-ef grep Postgres. With this command also, we can verify the service are running or not. Or if you want to systemctl sudo systemctl status PostgreSQL, like this, you can verify. So now if you want to connect the database, PSQL. Out of 3 database, what is the default database? Postgres is the default database. When you give /l, 3 database default, just we created a dummy instance. Still, we did not create any our own database. Default database created. So if you want to create our own database, yes, we can create the same. So these all are background process. So how to know what is the data directory? Show data underscore directory. Can say. So whatever the data directory display here, the same data directory you can get it from DB level. Show parameter name data underscore directory. How to know the port number? Show port. Can say it started using default port number 5432. Okay. So exit, how to exit from the DB/q. Exit from this user. So we are in the root user. So if you want to stop the services, let me stop. Stop. Systemctl stop PostgreSQL15. Now if you want to verify, you can verify status. Here it's showing inactive. That means currently the database service are not running. If it is running, here it's showing active. Let me start the services. Start, can say check the status. It's showing active, means running. Okay, clear with the default installation steps. Okay, so how to customize this installation part? How to customize the installation part? So the can say how to customize, these are the high level steps. So we cannot customize the installation location in case of yum method. In case of yum method, we cannot customize installation location. Second, we can customize data directory location. Next, we can customize super user, yes, if you want. So these are the who can customize. We cannot customize the default installation location. We can customize the data directory location. We can customize super user. Okay. So what is the default location? /usr PGSQL. This is the default home location. If it is a community version of PostgreSQL. If it is open source PostgreSQL, so if we install 16, the version number will be changed. USR PGSQL 16. If you install 17, 17. If you install 14, 14. That is the default home location for PostgreSQL. Default data directory, PG data. What is the data directory? This is the default data directory. When you go to this /var lib PGSQL 15 data, all the data will the same kind of files and folders we can see. If you go with any installation method, the data directory, purpose of data directory to keep data files and the configuration files. So if you go with the default method, default installation steps, that means in case of yum method or RPM method, the default data directory, this is the location of data directory. The same kind of files and folders are there. We'll discuss in the coming sessions. Few configuration files are there, data files are there inside base directory. So log directory, like this we'll discuss in the coming sessions. Each and every file under folder. Now, now I want to customize my data directory location. Super user, yes, if you want, you can say super. Already we seen the super user same -u username. While initialize the database, if you keep -u username, that username going to create under given the permission super user. So what are the high level steps you can say? Build Postgres server with the default location. We make the database server running with the default location. Next, stop the server. Stop the cluster if it is running. Create a cluster directory with own location and provide the necessary permission. We already done this step. We made the cluster is running. So if the cluster is running, you can stop the services. Let me stop the services. You can say now no services are running. Let me check status inactive. But that means no services are running. You can see here this enabled, the services are not running, but the auto start is enabled. Means now if the server is restarted, immediately after restarting node server, the PostgreSQL services will bring up by daemon process. If you don't want to, in future also, if you don't want to bring up the services after restarting the node as well, then you have to disable the services. systemctl disable PostgreSQL 15. Now you can say status here disabled. That means auto start also disabled. Now if you restart this node, the daemon process don't start the services. The daemon process did not bring the services. So after restarting the node, we have to start the services manually because auto start is disabled. How to enable auto start? Same, just enable. Now you can check status. Yes, it's enabled. Auto start is enabled, but services is disabled. Services not running, inactive, dead state. Okay, clear? Okay, so now I want to customize my data directory. First, I need to create a data directory. So where you want to keep your data directory? Some location. We need some location. I want to keep, this is the location. user1/15/data. So let me create this data directory first. Change the ownership and give the privileges. Let me create this directory. Yes. If you go to this directory, nothing is there. Just it's empty directory. It should be owned by Postgres user. Who is the owner of this directory? Postgres. Because the super user going to writing the data inside the data files which are there in the inside the data directory. So this directory always owned by super user Postgres. Now you can say my directory is ready. I done stop the cluster. I created directory, change the ownership and change the modification. Now we have to edit the service file. Now let me edit the service file, BA service file. So here the default PC data directory, default data directory is there. Now you can change the data directory. So what is our data directory? user1/15 data. I created this directory. I want to use this directory as a data directory. You can remove this existing one. You can add the latest one. Yes, I changed the data directory inside the service file. Now I can create a cluster. Now I can initialize the database. If we initialize the database, it create a cluster with a new data directory which we given inside the service file. Now if you want to check the service file, you can check the service file. Cat PG data. What is the PG data right now? It's a new location we given. If you create a cluster right now, it's going to create a cluster with this data directory. That's what our requirement. Now you can go and customize the create a cluster, just init DB. If you want to change the super user, just keep -u username. That's it. Init DB. You can say data directory should be after changing this anything. If you change any services on this file, you have to reload the services until unless it consider the default data directory before the existing directory only it consider. So whenever you change any whenever you do any modification on this file, you have to reload the daemon process. systemctl daemon reload. You can see whenever you do any changes on this file, you have to reload the daemon process. Now you can create the cluster. Now it is initializing the database. You can say now creation of cluster is done. Now you can start the services. How to start the services? Same. PostgreSQL systemctl start PostgreSQL 15. Now you can verify what is the data directory text status. Now you can say its auto start is enabled. Now the service file, yes, same service file we used and it's running. What is the data directory? It got changed. This is how you can customize the data directory in case of yum method. If you want to customize super user as well, yes, the same step. While init DB, you can keep -u username. Now, if you want to connect the database, switch to Postgres user, PSQL. What is our data directory? To know the data directory, show data directory. Data underscore directory is the parameter name. Can say user 115 data. Yes. What was the port number? Show port 5432. Any queries in this? Okay, so
So Venkat, that default directory still exists. Do we need to delete or remove it, or it will remain there?
default directory I removed from service file. From service file, there is a it's
But
mentioned
physical
old
still
data
exists.
directory. So I removed the old data directory from service file. I placed the new data directory which we created user 115 data. So whatever the data directory mentioned in the service file, it consider that is the data directory. It's going to create a cluster using that data directory.
Okay.
So whenever you make any changes in this file, you have to reload the daemon process. If you not reload, so always the system is consider the whatever the new changes, it's not reflected. That's why here we get the error data directory is not empty means in this step it consider data directory old data directory. Old data directory means where lib is equal. Inside there is some files and folders are there. So that's why it in this step it consider old data directory. That directory doesn't have empty. So after I reload systemctl daemon reload, so whenever you use this fire this command, so the new changes will be reflected from service file. So it consider the latest data directory. Inside this nothing is there. So it's created a cluster with this step. Then start the services. Whenever you start the services using systemctl, make sure you have to verify two things, whether it is auto start is enabled or not, whether it is running or not. If you start the services but auto start is disabled, whenever next time the server is restarted, after that services won't bring up automatically. Must ensure auto start is enabled.
Yeah,
Clear?
yeah. Yes, thanks.
Let me restart init 6. I am restarting the server. Let's see. Let's wait. Now, if you go to this is the server, it's stopping the server, Linux node. It's stopping under starting. Let's see. Now again, it's starting the services. Let's wait.
Venkat, if I want to install PostgreSQL 15
Mhm.
cluster,
Mhm.
the same machine, will it be possible?
15.
Yeah.
No, it's already existing na the default location. Why you if already existing 15, why you want to install again?
So
Tell
means,
me.
is it possible or not? Means I want to use for a different application. The version is 15. So in such case, we'll use the same machine, or do we want to use a
You
different
want to
machine?
use other application, what you need? You want to create the cluster or you want to use binaries? First, let me know.
A cluster.
Cluster. So same 15 version is there. Why you need to other version other?
So
Then
so
what
in
is the use of?
in
What is
my
the use?
SQL environment, okay,
Hmm.
we can create the same version up to we can install in 49 SQL servers
Mhm.
with named default is one.
Mhm.
So like that, can we install the same PostgreSQL version, the same machine? Will it be possible or not
There is no
in
use
Oracle?
in PostgreSQL. So if you want to use binaries, the same home location, go and use binaries. If you want to create a separate cluster for separate application, you can create the cluster with the same binaries. We can it's not possible because the home location is same. If you go again install 15, it will override the existing home location. In that
Okay,
case,
okay.
you can use source code method. We can change the home location in case of source code method for every time. Here, home location doesn't change. That is the fixed.
Okay, got it. So in this, okay, one version will support in one Linux machine. Okay, and if you want to do same version, it is possible on the same Linux machine. If you want, then we can create in the another Linux machine. Correct?
1 minute. So, okay, let me give clarity. So this is my database server. So this is my /user pages equal 15 version I installed. Okay. So I created one cluster. This is the one cluster. This cluster used HRMS database. HRMS database. So this is used for one application, HRMS application. HRMS application. HRMS application. Yeah. So if you want to use other cluster, okay, your requirement, if you want to create other cluster, suppose CRMS database. Okay. CRMS database. This database, if you want to use for other application, correct? This is your application CRMS app. Okay. So here, how to create the cluster? How to create the cluster? initdb. Yes or no? Here
Yes, sir.
also, for creating new cluster, we are using initdb. What is the initdb? It's a utility. Where it was located? Inside home location. Inside home location, there is a bin folder. There is a initdb. Using this initdb only, we can create a number of clusters.
Mhm.
It will support n number of applications. One database server, if you install one version, using that version, you can create n number of clusters. Each cluster you can use specific application if you want. So if you want to install again Postgres 15, there is no use. We cannot install. There is no need because the home location is same. It will override because these all clusters running with this home location. These all clusters running with this home location because we created the cluster inside a initdb. Suppose this version is this version is exactly 15.10. If we again download the 15 and if you try to install, suppose 15.11, the existing home location, it's a override. So if it is 15.11, but we created this cluster 15.10, that's not compatible.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
there is
with
no
the
use.
with one installation, we can create multiple cluster
Yes, yes.
DBs with the same version, correct?
Multi-cluster environment, multi-clusters creation. That will cover.
Okay.
Srini, it's even when we are doing for the MS SQL, we are creating the instance now. So I guess over here with one installation, they are creating multiple instance. Over there for each instance, we need one installation. I guess that makes sense.
Yes, that's correct. One installation, based on one installation, we can create multiple clusters.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
But in SQL, okay, if you want a different instance, we need to install
Yeah,
as per
from
our
altogether new. Yeah,
yeah.
I guess that's the difference. Oh.
Okay, so server is restarted. I connected a putty, you can see here. Physical server is up and running. Then able to establish the connection via putty. Status, I am checking the PostgresSQL. PostgresSQL 15, you can see. You can see. Just I connected and verified. Services auto started. Who started these services? There is a daemon process. There is a system D. There is a daemon process using the details inside the service file. It started automatically. Suppose if you disable the services, the services won't start automatically. That make sure we have to be careful whenever the patching or something happened on the Linux server. So when you start the services, systemctl, make sure you have to start the services, then make sure the services enabled or not. If it is disabled means next time when the server is rebooted, that time the services won't start automatically. Clear?
Yeah. And Venkat, how we can get